So wonderful afternoon everyone. Hope all of you doing fine. In this video we're going to see January 26 auditing Mark 1 MCQs, which is going to be very handy for you. So do check it out and do make full use of it. So first question is, first case scenario is CA Ram and CA Krishna are close friends and are into practice. Both decide to expand their focus. So they decide to conduct a joint training. By the way, this question is on recent editions of the Code of Ethics. So let's quickly check out what is the requirement. The requirement is whether the act of conducting the joint training session on GST by CA Ram and Krishna and sharing of the fee collected leads to professional misconduct. So various options are given. First one is it is allowed only to pay the share and Ram will be guilty, and third one is this is a case of solicitation of clients, so as per clause 6 misconduct, and lastly your option D, that is no, as per the recent decisions of the Ethical Standards Board, it is permissible for 2 or more CAs to collectively have joint training sessions. So this is not a misconduct. So the correct answer is option D. So this is allowed as per the recent decisions of Ethical Standards Board. Moving on to the next nice question on the listed entities and regulation 33. CA Arch was auditing the quarterly financial statements prepared in accordance with regulation 33. The financial results are prepared using recognition measurement of India's 34. These financial results would be hosted on the website of the entity and stock exchange. Should CA Arch include the CAM, that is key audit matters, as per SA 701 in the audit report on such financial statements? So the various options are no, SA 701 applies only to audit of complete set of general purpose, and SA 701 second one is B is SA 701 applies to audit of any entity. C is no, SA 701 applies to review the complete set of general purpose. D is yes, 701 applies to any auditable listed entity. So the correct option is option A, no, SA 701 applies to audit of complete set of general purpose financial statements. So this is quarterly financial filing. So hence in this given scenario, reporting under SA 701 is not required. So moving on to the next question, the third one. During the statutory audit of Surat branch of Govati Bank, the auditor observes that the Surat branch has created a single uniform provision of 0.4% on all standard advances without classifying them sector-wise. On inquiry, the branch manager explains that since all accounts are standard, there is no need to apply different provisioning rates. So which of the following will be the most appropriate response by the auditor? So first one is accept the provision. So whenever this question comes, this kind of question comes, and if you're unsure, most likely the accept will not be the answer. So if you see in this case, A and D you can rule out because most of them are accepting blindly as it is. That is the never can be the role of auditor, and C is ignoring the issue. So the correct answer in this case is B, that is provision for standard assets is required to be made at variable rates in respect of different sectors for the funded outstanding in accordance with RBI norms. So moving on to the next case scenario, these are the first bunch, we saw 3 questions. Moving on to the next 3 sets. So the Technova Solutions, the software development company, one of the top 500 entities on NSE. So during the year, the CFO receives a highly realistic voice message from non-vendor Apex Systems detailing a last-minute change to the bank details for an upcoming rupees 45 lakhs payment for server maintenance licenses. So the CFO pressed for time, and he verbally approves the change to the accounts payable team without calling the vendor to verify. So a week later, the accounts team was preparing, and they found that Apex system had sent a formal inquiry. So considering this, a fraudulent transfer has been made. So what is this kind of fraud? So that is the main question. So let's quickly check out what are the options and what is the correct answer. So in the given case, the cyber attack technique encoded by the company. So everything is being done using the voice. So is it IoT based or ransomware, mobile malware, or phishing? So any frauds that is done through voice mails or voice text, so that is called a phishing. I repeat, the answer is 4B. Phishing is the correct answer. So moving on to the next, considering the facts in this case relating to loss and deficiency, which is the more appropriate answer. What is the report that needs to be issued by the auditor as per SA 705? So is it the auditor should issue an adverse opinion, or the auditor should exclude discriminatory opinion, or the auditor should issue qualified, or auditor should issue unmodified opinion? In this case, if you see it is material and not permissive as it is specifically given in the question. So the auditor should issue qualified opinion. So the correct answer for the question 5 is option C. So moving on to the next 6th question. If you see this question straight away, you need not read first 2 lines, that will help you save time. So the which report should be primarily required to file being a top 500 listed entity. So the correct answer is business responsibility sustainability report, that is BRSR report. So moving on to the next, can Mrs. A&P Associates accept an offer to provide for internal audit services for Technova Solutions for the current financial year's Q4 period? So the correct answer is the statutory listed entity cannot provide internal audit services to the same company. So the correct answer in this case is option C. So moving on to the next last of your case scenario 2, that is the question is. So we have seen 1, 2, 3, 4 and the remaining 4 buckets. So moving the second case scenario, Jupiter Industries. Jupiter Industries is an established chemical manufacturer based in Florida, is listed both on NSE and BSE and NSE. So Mrs. Pinnacle, CA firm, was appointed to conduct the statutory audit. So you notice that the TCWG and the company are involved in managing the entity. So the given scenario is given, this is based on the resignation of the auditor. So in this case, the ongoing Pinnacle already issued the report for the first 2 quarters, and on November 24th, he sends the resignation. So let's quickly check out the question and how we have to go about it. So what was the immediate responsibility of Mrs. Pinnacle and Associates with respect to the issue of limited review report at the time of proposing resignation? So is it first, that is a limited review for quarter 3 was required to be issued and consequently for report for full year, or is it B, or is it C? So the correct answer in this case is when auditor has already issued for the 2 quarters, and also he submits his resignation after the end of 45 days from the financial year. In this case, he has submitted his resignation on November 25th. So by this 55 days is already over. So the correct answer is option A, that is quarter 3 should be issued on also for full year, because as per the regulation, when the auditor has issued the report for the first 3 quarters, then he must issue the report for the limited review for the quarter 4, that is for the full year as well. So moving on to the next, what is the responsibility of CA Rishi when the management refused to remove the set limitations? So the first option is to communicate the matter to TCWG and determine the possibility to perform alternate procedures, and to determine whether it is possible to perform alternate procedure to obtain sufficient audit evidence, or to request for written representation for the management, and also communicate to the TCWG. So the correct answer in this case is to obtain the written representation as per SA 580, and also communicate the matter through to TCWG. So last question, if the auditor proposed to resign on November 25th before issuing the report for second quarter, in this case what he needs to do? So the correct answer in this case will be the auditor shall communicate to TCWG with governance that the possible effects of undetermined claimant could be both material and pervasive, and also the report for the second quarter should be issued. He need not issue report for the third quarter in this case, but the report for the second quarter needs to be issued in this case, because he has submits his resignation before issuing the Q2 reports. And moving on to question 11, so whether in these cases whether withdrawal is mandatory. So the correct option is in this case withdrawal from the engagement was not mandatory, and in case withdrawal the auditor was required to withdraw where practicable. So this is he need not have resigned, but if he required, then he should ensure the effects of practicability and the possible effects and the possible laws and regulations. So moving on to the last, assuming Jupiter to be unlisted if the reason for resignation was proper. So the correct answer is option C, that is irrespective of listed or unlisted, the auditor should clearly mention the reason for the resignation in the resignation letter issued to the company. So let's quickly check out the last case scenario in your current mock. Elix and Company, a well-established firm, has been appointed as auditor of Titan Metals Limited. So Titan Metals is another entity, Metalco Innovations Limited, acquiring 48%. So the company is currently listed and the net worth is 260 crores. So in this case, what are the various questions that you have to answer is, first one is the training, asks whether the audit team is required to perform any procedures. So the correct answer is the auditor need not proceed any procedures other than the investment So the correct option is option A and B, that is the company should prepare the CFS and auditor needs to perform procedure on investment balances. That is very important because the percentage has been increased from 48 to 62 percentage. Hope you full made use of all these questions. It will be very handy for you on the exam day morning. Within 10 minutes you are able to see all the MCQ questions. Do make full use of it. Do subscribe and ensure you don't lose out on any qualitative exam related contents. All the best, keep going, best wishes.